Right, so Owen speaks very kindly, but I think he and I have been speaking about a week. So that's a long time in the digital world. So he asked me to just have a chat. He very kindly came along to an event we were running last night, which I hope he enjoyed and isn't too hungover from. So thank you to both of you for inviting us here. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background to me in the context of, so that's me, showing off, as normal. A little marketing hub thing that we also run, which I would love to talk to you about, because I think the idea is that we're trying to get people in digital, particularly Leeds in digital, into a safe space where they can talk about their challenges, their ideas, what's happening in the market, etc. But background to me, so I'm going to pick that up in a moment, aren't I am in technology, so I worked in software. I started off working in nuclear power control systems, none of them are broken yet. And my second job was missile tracking systems, all the telemetry that happens around that. So I'm into data, I'm into software, etc. I'm not from Leeds, you might have guessed, possibly. I'm originally from Essex, but I moved up to Leeds 20 odd years ago, and I'm very glad I did, because it is a city that is, I'm afraid, second to London, but clearly there's a lot going on here. I have to say, though, that Manchester's pretty close, so we need to keep upping it in Leeds here, because you go to Manchester, it's a real vibe, it's a real agency vibe. So I am Technology Director and Data Lead for Beacon. Now, I'm not going to go on about Beacon too much. There is another slide where I touch on briefly what we do. This isn't the sales pitch. It's about connectivity. So I'm also a North Council member for the Data and Marketing Association, which is the industry association for digital marketeers. And they used to be called the Direct Marketing Association, because back in the day, that's all you pretty much did. You put posters up and you mailed out to people actual bits of paper. They ran a really interesting initiative called the Power of Data, talking to digital marketeers, anyone in digital, to understand that data was massively valuable to them. And that's great, and that came out of DMA Scotland. DMA North now have an initiative which we're starting called Artificial Engagement. And what we're looking at is actually how do you look at any bit of digital data and know that it's genuine. Now, obviously this comes from the background of Beacon, which is interested in, for digital marketeers, which bits of traffic to your website are real and not. There's a pop quiz at the moment, so I'm expecting some hands up. I'm also project director on online and digital for UK Police Memorial, which is a charity which is building a memorial at the National Memorial Arboretum in Lichfield. If you've ever been there, it's an amazing space. Don't go there when it's wet, because it's basically a swamp. Okay, so right now is not a good time to visit, it's worth going. That's just starting being built, although not right now. It's being put into the ground in the spring, and it'll be open the following spring, inaugurated the following spring, and that's basically for police officers killed in the line of duty. Relevant today, I hope no one here has got people connected with the London Bridge attacks that have just happened today in London. Yeah, 2 people killed, 2 civilians killed. So police officers run toward danger, the rest of us run away, and that's why we're involved with that, it's huge. And remember the CPO Hub, which if any of you are really into data, that's the Chief Data Officers Hub. It is London-based, I apologise, but it's a really interesting way to connect and talk about data. So picking this back up again, hopefully making it work properly. Sorry, the key point about that is, I wasn't any of these things 3 years ago. This company here is 2 years and 7 months old, and all of these things that I'm now involved with have come out of connections I've had. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. You can take yourself from nowhere to quite high. I changed the slide on my laptop and I then didn't send it through to you. Never mind, there's a nice screenshot on there. I'll show you afterwards if you're interested. So Beacon, digital campaign intelligence for smart marketeers. We touched on that. We work with marketing companies, agencies particularly, but also end users who want to understand how much of their traffic is genuine, who want to create reports really quickly and easily for their clients, and who want to be able to manage their campaigns properly. But that came about partly because of this dude here, John Wanamaker, 1838 to 1922. Half the money I spent on advertising is wasted, but the trouble is I don't know which half. Now, you've probably heard that phrase, certainly if you do anything in marketing, you've heard that phrase before. A lot of people don't know who it's attributed to, but this is the man. And he wasn't talking about digital, obviously. He was talking about, posters, and he was talking about things on trains, and he was talking about, actual marketing, direct marketing. But it's the same thing with data, with digital data now. You still don't know what's going on with traffic. And that's because we have this oligarchy of very large digital ad agencies like Google, which is the pop quiz coming up, right? Who basically take everyone's money to give them things back, but they don't tell them what's working properly. So Who knows? Shall we all maybe sit there? Who knows how much money was spent on digital advertising in 2018 worldwide? Any guesses? Anyone?
10 million.
250 billion. Of that, Google is responsible for
200?
150. Facebook, 50. So they're the big players, okay? The Drum has just published, it's really worth looking up, a study by a cybersecurity company called Check, and this is one of many things, there's all these kind of things out there, which says that the expected cost of ad fraud this year is $30 billion. So the Internet Advertising Bureau also published a study, which is quoted in there, which said how many adverts they think that are paid for but aren't seen. Any guess? It's more than billions.
Yeah.
21 trillion. So saying 21 trillion adverts that are being paid for by people, by companies, are not being seen, but are being paid for. So you can see the scale of the thing here. For my sins, I ended up running a digital agency here in Leeds for 4 years, which is where this came about, because from a data point of view, I was looking at the data going, blimey, what's going on here? And then thought, actually, we can solve this problem ourselves. So that's where we came from. So that's enough about Beacon. So I wanted to talk about connectivity, and particularly the people that you build around you, because I think that's really the whole purpose of this. Is that right? Yeah, we've got the brief, that's good. And I've picked up 7 things, and I'm sorry, they almost all feel like they would come with an inspirational poster of someone running across a moor or something. But this isn't my first company. I can't remember exactly how many companies I've set up, but I think certainly 5 or 6. And I would say that I've had 1 spectacular failure, and 2 moderate successes, and what's left there? 2 or 3, kind of ones. And that's kind of lives into, I'll use the wrong order. That leads into point 6 and 7, which I'll come back to in a moment. So the point is, you are only the sum of the parts of the people you build around you. Doing it yourself to a certain extent when you're a micro enterprise and it's you and you're out there talking to people, yeah, fine, that works, but I tell you what, it gets really boring really quickly when you're doing everything and you can't grow. And the biggest lesson I ever learned in business, and it's sort of the third one in, I think, was someone who was a non-exec. There aren't such things anymore. If you're a director, you're a director. But he was a non-exec director at the time of my business, said to me, we can't sell this business if you do everything. And I was like, what do you mean? And he gave me a book and I read it. And he's like, actually, you're absolutely right. If I can't go on holiday as a business owner, and I'm one of 3 founders in Beacon now, so I've sort of learned that lesson very early on. But if you're the business owner, you can't just go on holiday. You haven't got a product. You haven't got a business you can sell. You've got a lifestyle business, maybe. You've got a job. Okay, you're the boss, but actually, anyone who runs a business here, who actually runs a business here? Of interest, who runs their own business, or is a founder or something like that? So a good 50%. Who wants to? Who isn't? Yeah, I think hard about it if I were you, but it can work. But it isn't all aspirational, I tell you. Where was I going with that? The point is, build a team around you. Be dispensable. Please, be dispensable. Don't be vital for anything. At the beginning, you have to be. It's so annoying. You teach people, and they bring it, and they come back to you and go, can you do this? But that's how you do it. You help people to become something, which is point 2. You delegate to them. You trust them to do something. They do it wrong. They will do it wrong. You go away somewhere quiet. You shout and scream. You come back and go, okay, fine, no problem. Let's do this. Delegate people, trust them to get it right. Some people just won't. And then, let them go with grace. It happens. But in Beacon, we've got a team of 10, and 8 of them I've known and have worked with for, up to 20 years, and all of them minimum of 8 years. And a lot of them came with me from the agency. So you build a great team of people who you know and you can trust to do stuff. If I have to, I can phone one of them at 1 o'clock in the morning and say, please can you do this? And they'll do it because they know I won't ask them if it's not important. So it's both ways. 3 and 4 are sort of like the same thing, but it's important. Never be afraid to ask for support. I mean, people will help you. Some people won't. Forget about it, move on. Other people will. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for money. I mean, this is one of when I first set up a business, I was just terrified of actually asking someone to pay me to do something. Don't undervalue yourself for a start, because just because you can do something in an hour doesn't mean that you haven't had to spend 20 years learning how to do that thing in an hour. So make sure you charge your own time properly, and we pay our people properly and believe in that kind of stuff. But don't be afraid to go to investors and believe in what you've got. I mean, I don't know Nexus particularly. I think they're a good organisation. We work with Huddersfield, although I'd love to work with Nexus. And Liverpool John Moore on the charity thing, so I sort of know a little bit about the university sectors. They can help you raise money, but you can find people who can help you there. Never be afraid of that. And don't be afraid to ask connections. You should be going around this room. You should, I know it's not natural for some people to be out there talking to people, and I might look like I like doing this, but I do. I really, really do. But at the same time, I didn't want to come here tonight. If I wasn't talking, I might have made the excuse not to come. Particularly because last night we were at an event we were hosting, a fashion fiesta, a charity event, got quite drunk, got home quite late. Yeah, I mean, all I've done today in terms of work is I've gone to a Pilates class, and I've turned up here. So I wouldn't have come. But come and meet people. I mean, there's a good number of people here. I hear really good things about it. It's generally the first one of these I've been to. I've been to a few other events, some good, some bad. Come to the ones that work and meet people. Digital marketing hub. Anyway, so again, but culture-wise, don't be afraid to offer those things. You see someone you can help, even if you're not going to get paid for that help. I don't mean like, someone says, oh, design me a brand, or a logo, or do some software. No, but you help them with connections. If you can help invest in people in terms of time, money, do so. Is anyone watching my time here, by the way?
I am.
Going to grab it on. Okay, fine. Right. How am I doing?
2-3 minutes, maybe.
Left. Crikey. Right. Be quick. Keep trying. Really keep trying. So just very quickly, failed with dignity. Okay. The company that I failed in most, which is the worst thing ever. I lost about £150,000 of my own cash in it, and it was just desperate. To me, that's all the money in the world. To some people, it means nothing, but it was everything. Didn't lose my house, but it was very close. But I maintained contacts from those days. It all went really, really horribly wrong, but I maintained the contacts because I treated them with dignity. I explained what was going on, explained why it was happening, and then they stay with you because people respect that in you. Be free. Just behave the way you want to be treated. And equally, succeed humbly. Again, Beacon, early days. Might be brilliant, might be adequate, might fail. Hard to tell because we're 2.5 years old. Hopefully, the former. I put money in that as well. But if we succeed, it's not down to me. I'm part of this, and only part of this, and remember that, if you can. 501, be a lion. I was going to have a whole kind of complicated thing about this, but I'm not going to bother because I haven't got very much time. I'll be kicked off the stage. The magic number for LinkedIn, where they think you're this lion, which is LinkedIn something. But basically it's their goal networking and you get access to all kinds of other things. But the point I was sort of trying to make here was that it's not the number of people you know, it's the quality of the people you know.
It was a status error.
It is also HTTP status error, not... what is it? I should know that, shouldn't I? Hang on, it says here. Not implemented. There you go. And connect with me, please, thank you. And I appreciate you listening to me rambling on. Thank you.